Hi everybody, this is Santri from Sunny Creates. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So as I promised, I am going to be showing you how to make the ephemera holder, which is made with toilet roll cores. And all you need for this project is about 10, depending on how big your ring is. So my rings are pretty small. I'll give you the measurements of it just now. But I'm using 10 all in all, together with the back and the front cover, and 8 inside. And all I did was that I just got some paper ready, and I got the toilet roll cores, and then I've got this plastic in it, something like acetate, but it's a thinner version of it, and like transparencies. You know, the one you use for the overhead projectors, but this is not so clear, which I like because then it works well in the sewing machine. It's not too slippery. But if you have transparencies, please go ahead and use them. There's nothing wrong with them. I've sewn with transparencies. And then I've got little notches over here. It's not necessary to have those notches. Right, so let me show you what I did. Now I have gone ahead and prepared a bit for this because you definitely don't want to see me actually doing this project from scratch. Scratch, yes, the word is scratch. Because then it's too boring. So here's my toilet roll cores, and all I do is I cut my toilet roll cores and try to cut them as straight as possible down the middle. Mine, you know that I don't cut straight, so they're a bit wonky, but it's okay. I work with it. I'm not, this project is a very inexpensive project, if I can say that. So I don't want to spend too much of time perfecting it or whatever. It serves its purpose, even if it's wonky, and that's what matters to me. I use them all the time, and I store them upright. And you can tie ribbons on it or whatever, but the way I store it, you don't really need to do that. So all I do is cut the toilet roll core in half, or just ensure that you've cut it, and then you can use your Cuttlebug or your Big Shot or any of your embossing machines that you have, and I just spray it with sanitizer. I run it through my Cuttlebug, and then it's pretty straight. You'll see that it's not too straight, but it'll get straight as we go along, or as you start using it. You can also, after you spray it with sanitizer, if you'd like, let that dry out and then put it under some big fat books for a few days, and then you can use it. So when it gets nice and flat like this, then it's time to be able to use them. And then I would take, I use A4 pages. If you are using letter, then you can see how it works for you and how many you get out of it. But I get 2 out of it. For every A4 page I use, I get 2. Now I just want to bring your attention to the fact that if you are using paper, printed paper, that is directional. I'll show you one method of folding, and if you're using printed paper that's non-directional, I'll show you another way of folding it. Also, listen, you don't have to even cover it if you don't want to. As I mentioned, these things get thrown away. This is a very inexpensive project. I got these rings for next to nothing. They were in a big pile of other jewelry supplies, and I just bought handfuls of it. Oh, well, all the jewelry supplies, and I picked out those thingy. But I'm sure you can use the smaller little rings that you can get in your jewelry supply store. You know, the ones that we use for our dangles and charms and things like those kind of stores. Okay, so also, if you, as I mentioned, if you didn't want to cover it, you can run this through the embossing folder, with embossing machine with the embossing folder, and then you'll get a nice embossed look on it. And it will be brown or whatever color your toilet roll core is, and it will have an embossed look on it. So depending on what you want to do, it really doesn't matter. Right. So I am just going to use Prit. Now this project does actually call for a sewing machine. I suppose you can get away with double-sided tape or strong glue. I did, but I'm not sure whether I liked the results of it. I don't think I really liked the results of it. So I would suggest that you use like something really, really strong in terms of adhesive. Okay, so if you are using non-directional paper, meaning that you can use your paper in any which side you want to, then I would put it here like that, and my edges are not going to line up simply because that is not cut straight, and sometimes these are also not cut straight. But I mean, I didn't cut that, it came like that. So I'm going to line it up as best as I can, and you don't have to worry, because what's going to happen is that you're going to sew across it. So this is for non-directional paper, and I would do something like that. Okay, non-directional, because when you look at it, one side is going to be down or up, and the other side is going to be in the reverse. For non-directional paper, it does not make much of a difference. Okay, right. For directional paper, now I'm looking at this, it's actually directional. No, it's not, because that is coming that way and that's going that way. Okay, for directional paper, what you would do is that you would line it up like this, but you won't fold it over, you will fold it this way, because that is the same direction as the one at the back. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, then it works perfectly. So now in my case, I'm going to do it that way because all the papers I've chose are non-directional. And I am just going to glue it. Yes, so I'm just going to use my ordinary glue, and I can simply because I'm going to run it through that sewing machine. But I'm giving it a nice good, I'm not just using a little bit, I'm giving it a good coating of glue, because the middle of it has to, using the glue stick, sorry about that, it has to stick. Okay, so I'm lining up as best as I can, as I mentioned to you, like that. And I think I left my ruler on the other desk. Let me just get it quickly. Here goes. And please, you're going to hear lots of noises. There were 3 bees in my room. 3 bees here. So I had to open the windows. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the edge as best as I can, like that. And I'm just going to kind of, oh, you don't have to line up the edges. You can even do that, like that. Okay, and you have this little piece here. You can decide to bring it in, or you can decide you want to cut it off. Now I don't want to bring it in, I want to cut it off, just because. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it until I feel the edge over here, and I'm going to just do that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this like this, and I'm going to tear it. But before I tear it, in order for it to be more secure, I am going to cover this side as well. So I mean, there's many ways you can do this. You can tear the piece out and then put it on. You can cut it off. You can do whatever you want to. But I want this project to move as quickly as possible. It is a bit time consuming, I must admit. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. In the long run, I think it's actually worth it. So I don't know if you can, but I can see my line here. there's my line, and I tried to cut it as close to the edge as possible. So I'm going to turn my ruler around, and I'm going to now place my ruler on that, pick up my both papers and tear it. Okay, so be careful when you're tearing it, because one page was, you can see one is longer than the other, so just be careful when you're tearing it. But there we go, and it's neat enough for me. Remember, we're going to seal the edges with our when we actually do the sewing. So, and that's it. So that's ready now. Okay, so far the only difference is whether you're using directional or not directional. If you're doing directional, fold it long ways. If you're doing non-direction, you can fold it that way. Not that to say if you are doing non-directional, you can't fold it that way as well. I'm just giving you two alternatives. Right, so now I'm going to add this one here to the side here and do the same thing. So you can see that you will have some pieces left over, and that's fantastic. I'm not going to show you how to decorate the cover. As I mentioned to you, this is a very quick thing for me. It serves my needs and purposes very well, but I can't afford on the shelf that I have to have anything bulky, meaning the cover or whatever, because I stack them one next to the other. One next to the other. Does that even make sense? But hey. Right, so you can see it's off here quite a bit, but it's okay. It's going to get swallowed up just now. Or if it's really bad, you just cut it down over there. But you're trying to get all to the same size. All the toilet roll cores the same size. So I will definitely think about that when I'm you know, putting them together. Like in our house, we use only one brand, so it doesn't really, you know, don't really see much of a difference. But if you use different brands, then just make sure that your toilet roll cores are similar in size. It just makes working with the project so much more easier. Once again, ruler, I can kind of feel it where it needs to be as well. Ruler, tear out. Okay, so we are not done with that, but we are almost done with that. And now you can go in and you can cut out the excess over here. Now you can decide at this point, do I want to add my what's this called, distress ink? Gosh, I'm at a loss for words today. Or do I want to add it at a later stage? It doesn't really matter, but I think sometimes if you add it at a later stage, you're going to also distress the sewing thread at the same time. So if you don't want a double job, then do that. So that's the first part, and it's done. And normally, because I do so many of this, I do 10 at a time. By the time I get to these again, they're dried. So I want to show you the difference. So this is the pack that I'm working on. I've done 8, I think, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. Now, the front of the book and the back of the book, okay, you don't need to add to the covers, the outside covers. You don't need to add pockets. But if you want to, you can, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to 11 because I added on 2 sides of that, on 8 of them already. But I want to show you how to add the pockets for just the front and the pocket that you are going to use double-sided. And this is the important part. Nothing else is important except this. Right. So now what I would do is I would look and see where the seam is. If I can find the seam, then I would worry about it, you know, the fold. But here, just it's folded so well that I can't even see which is which. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. I don't mind. But if you find you have a fold, keep the fold on the outside, meaning that your fold should be on the outside here, not on the inside there. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you quickly how to do the pockets. Now I work with the A4. I'm going to show you what it is. This is it. Sorry for the glare. So this is what I actually use. You can see, you may see that it's matte on one side. Okay, and it's not completely see-through. So I'm going, sorry man, I'm going to use that. And let's see. This one here that's completely see-through. So look at it from a point of view of the desk. That's how that one looks. And that's how that looks. You can't really see the desk properly, whereas here you can. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. And that's a little bit of a rougher side, and that is going to face up for me when I'm sewing, just because it has more tooth in it, and the machine is not going to slide around on it. It doesn't really matter. I'm doing this for a while, so I know these tips and tricks. Then the next thing I will do is I will take a template. Now you'll see lines on my template, and I'm going to explain that to you just now. What I would have done is that I would have taken a ruler and I would have said, okay, how wide is this? And I think this worked out to about 12.5 centimeters. I'm like, right, fine, it's that wide. So I know that my pockets, after I cut them out, need to be 12.5 centimeters across. Okay, the next thing I would do is I would say, right, how deep do I want the pockets, and how much of space do I want between them? Now remember, when you are doing this, you need to leave space on this side and you need to leave space on the top. And let me explain that to you. So this sits right at the bottom, that pocket sits right at the bottom, and it opens up there. And then this one sits away from the end of this pocket here, sits away, and it also sits away from the end, because you need enough space. Okay, maybe you need enough space to be able to pull your ephemera in and out from both the pockets. Okay, so can you see that? So I normally keep my bigger pieces of like whatever labels or whatever at the bottom, because they can overlap on the they can overlap that pocket there, the top pocket, but these ones are smaller and I don't want them to stick out. So always leave start your pocket right at the bottom, and then judge how many centimeters you want, or what's the distance you want between this end of this pocket and the beginning of the second pocket, and make sure that you also have space on top to be able to take these out properly. All right, so if you look at it, I probably got a centimeter there and a centimeter there, so I think that would be about, if I look at it, yeah, it's 4 centimeters. So remember, this was 10, so I kept a centimeter there and a centimeter on the top. So what I did is I decided, oh, I am absolutely not going to be cutting these out and measuring them all the time. So what I did is I made a template. This is A4. Excuse me. This is A4, and I tried my very best to get as many pockets from it as possible. So these are 13. Why you see those lines going down there and those lines going down there is because I had a different brand of toilet roll when I first started, and it was smaller, the course was smaller, so those were for the smaller lines. And then now my toilet roll is bigger, so I will be using these lines here. Okay, all right, so what I do is I put this over here like this. I keep the tooth up. I line it up as best as I can, like that. Then I will take these here and I line them up like that. Like that. And then this becomes my template now to work on. And then what I will then do is I will take a white or dry eraser marker, any color you want to. I use black, maybe you want to use red, because then you can see the lines, the black lines from the red lines or whatever. But I really don't have a problem. And I just go and complete the lines. Okay. So sometimes you got to move these around for the ruler to fit. So I know my vertical lines are done, which means now I need to go and do my horizontal lines. And I will just do the horizontal lines like that. And now notice I took it right up until there because I unmarked that. I know that it is a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Confusing. But to me, it's not, because I don't want to make two templates. If I ever get the smaller cores again, I know exactly what I want to do over here. Okay, so they measured 13 or 12.5 by 4 centimeters. Okay, and then here I know I can get one more here like that, and that's what I do. And I think I'm done. I think while talking to you I may have missed one or two, but I'm not sure. You'll see. No, I didn't. And now all I'll do is I'll take my scissor and I'll start cutting them on the lines. Now this piece is a little bit smaller, and don't discard it. Don't discard it. You can still use it. But what I do is I mark that piece for now. And because I want them to line up properly, front and back. So I will then go ahead and cut all these out. Okay, so the only thing I'm actually left with from the entire thing is this piece here. So that's what I did. So on each page you can get approximately 11 pockets. And for the front and back of each of these you only need 4. Okay, so for the whole thing it's 8 times 4, that's 32, plus another 4, that's 36. Oh, okay, so and you get 11 out of each one, so you're looking at about 3.5 or so. Now here's what I have, some that I cut out, and I'm going to show you now what to do. So this is what I would do. I take some, now don't laugh at me, okay, because I'm gonna pull this out. It just so happened that when I was preparing it today, I realized for me this works perfectly, right? Because it was continuously coming out, and I was like, okay, that's fine. That's the side with the tooth. turn it over, just run some adhesive or glue onto that part there. And remember now, if you're only using adhesive, as long as you got a very strong adhesive, do the same thing that I did. Now sometimes the pockets may be a bit longer, so I line them up to one edge, as you're going to see there now. They might be a little bit longer because remember, these are not cut accurately. Line it up at the bottom as best as you can, edge of the so-called pocket with the edge of the toilet roll core, and you can do that, and then you can then do that. Okay, now that's the edge. Then what I will do is that, and then I will put one here maybe for now. Okay, all right. Then what I will do is I will flip it over, and I will do the same thing. But before I glue this down, I want to show you, if you want a knot, a notch in your pocket, then you saw what I did. I just folded it in half like that, and I hope this is going to work. And then I just try and line up the middle of the punch and give it a little bit of a half circle like that. Okay, so you can do that as well if you want to. Right, so where's that piece now? Yes, there's it here. So now what I will do is the grit or the tooth side, turn it over. You don't really need to do this now, hey? But since I'm doing a tutorial, I'm showing it, everything in the sense that you don't have to worry which is the side with the tooth. Okay. Now remember, this is just plain old glue, and it's going to not stay forever. It's just for me to put in the sewing machine. Then I'll line up again, edge to edge, edge to edge. Okay, and put this down here like that, and then just lift this up and make sure that sits properly. So now, because I didn't cut straight, I have this pieces over here. I'll take my my scissors, and I'll just snip off that part there like that, and once I've snipped that part off there, I can add another one here like that. Okay, so now remember, these are the pockets both sides. Now this is where the part comes where you need to pay a little bit more attention. I've taken a strip, it's about 1 centimeter. Going to add it to the top. Now there's my pockets there and there. Going to add it to the top like that. Just going to add my line it up to the top. There we go. I'm going to take this here, another one. Just going to punch it out here. Oh, this side is not punched. Okay, so I'm going to use the one that's punched and not punched. So I'll keep that one for the other side because the other side is punched. Right. So here we go. This is the important part now. When you glue this here, you are then going to take this, no glue on this side, glue here, here, and here, and you're going to line up the edge or the top edge of this second pocket. Going to line up the top edge of the second pocket with the edge of the beginning of the top of the second pocket with the bottom part of this white strip. Going to line them up the edges. Okay, and because we don't cut perfectly straight and things like that, there is going to be discrepancies here at the bottom. There is, but you do it as best as you can. Now the reason why you are doing this is because, and now what you're going to do is you are going to, I'll tell you now the reason why. Let's just get this down. See? Okay, and then for now here, like that. Now I'm going to take out this edge here, use it by flipping it over and using it on this side. Now why am I taking special care to line up the second pocket? Because I'm going to sew in between here, and when I sew in between here, it needs to catch the pocket on this side as well as the pocket on this side. Let me show you. Sorry, man. What I mean. Now my machine was giving me lots of trouble today. Lots of trouble. Right. So don't know if you can see the bottom of this pocket here, which is this one here. There's it caught here with the sewing, and then when I turn it over, it also catches the bottom of that pocket. That's the reason why we must be able to have some measurement that is constant on the top, so that those two pockets on both sides, okay, they are as aligned as possible, if you get what I mean. Oh, I put this in crooked. Let's turn it around. Yeah, can you see? Yeah, so that's wrong. Put it in upside down, not crooked. Right, so now that we have that, let's go and do this side now. And I hope this video is not too confusing. I don't think that it's very easy to demonstrate. Oh, there's my pocket here. Right, so now on this one here, tooth, and I'm just gonna line it up like that. Gonna line it up like that. I mean glue it, not line it. And I'm gonna add it in as well. So there's some the part that's sticking out there, because I need to trim that. Take this and I try to align this top edge to the bottom of that as best as I can, while aligning this edge here to this edge here as well. And I look and I was like, okay, that's a pretty decent one. Then I take it out and I do that, and I do that. Okay, and now I try my very best. You can take this out now. I try my very best to be able to catch some of the acetate there, like that, because now I'm going to be trimming here. Okay, and I trim excess out. There we go. So we are done now. Now what we do is we're going to run this through the sewing machine. Okay, and that's it on this one. Now I want to show you on this one, because this is going to be the front cover. Okay, all I'm going to do is I am not going to put pockets in on both sides. I'm only going to put pockets in on the back, so like that. Okay, so there's no pockets in on the front. You can then do it with decorate it, and there'll be only pockets at the back. So this is very easy. Okay, the reason now I can remember is because my fold is on the top, not on the sides, because I folded it the other way. Oh yes, Anthony. Okay, so I'm gonna do that quickly. Just gonna punch the hole here on this one, and See, it's misbehaving. It does get stuck on this, but it's okay. I'm understanding that that is the line there. Oh, very crooked, but hey, it's okay. As I said, guys, this is for me, and it serves its purpose. So I don't mind. I'm not going to go and cut a new piece there for that. And I don't even have paper around to be able to do, you know, put the paper in. So I don't want to wake up now and go and get paper. Okay, so that's it. Neat enough. And then we're going to add it here. Decide which side you want your front to be. I think I like that to be my front. So I'm just going to add the paper on this side here. Like that. That. And that. Can you see how haphazardly I'm doing that? And look, this one fits perfectly now. So it just depends. It depends on what sides you have. There we go, like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the top. I'm going to do that thingy. And then I am going to put my stuff here. I'm gonna then put some glue here, like that. And this is not very nice glue, in the sense that if you're worried that I'm putting too much and I'm not really, you know, checking exactly what I put, where I put it or whatever, I'm comfortable with that, because I know this glue is never gonna hold. Okay, so we are done with that. Now I'm gonna take it through to the sewing machine, and I'm gonna put this video on pause, and I just want to tell you how I'm going to sew. I'm going to start from the top over here, and I'm going to go around, and then I'm going to take out this over here. So normally what I'll do is I will move this as soon as I get to the sewing machine, just to catch this part here, so that I can sew properly around here, right? Then as soon as I turn this corner, I will move this out and this out and sew the. Then when I get to this corner, I will move this to as much as possible on that side, and I will sew. And then when I find I can't sew on it, I just start moving the pins around. Once I'm done sewing all four sides, I would have caught this part, this part, this part, this part, and this part. And then I run my sewing machine through the middle over there. Now, you are going to get a line on this side. You can then cover it up with some lace or whatever the case may be. Or you can choose not to add this pocket over here, so you don't get the line there. You can still choose to add this pocket, because all of your pages have the full line around it, or full line of sewing around it. So since you are going to be sewing around it, why don't you just catch this pocket with it? Okay, and you don't need that pocket in there if you don't want that sewing line there. And maybe let's do that, because then we can keep it for bigger ephemera. Can you see how easily that came out? Right. So you will do the same for the front pocket, and you will do the same for the back pocket. The only difference is when you're doing it for the back pocket, ensure that your cover is flipped. So can you see right side? And if I'm doing it for the back pocket, I'm going to do it on this side and not that side, because that side is going to be facing outward. Okay, so I'm gonna just pause this video, and then I'll come back to you to show you how I actually put it in. Okay, so I am back now, and there's my pages. I inked around as well, so it caught on that, and it caught on that very nicely. Okay, right, and then there's the front. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to because it's for this journal here. I'm going to open it up like this. Oh, you would think that I don't use this on a day. No, well, I don't use it on a daily basis, but I've been using it for years. I'm going to take one out. And while I'm there, let me turn. So that's also that way. I put some in upside down. Nevertheless. So yes, also watch where you're punching it, eh? So with me, because I've got non-directional paper, it doesn't really matter where I actually punched it. And this one here, I forgot to add to sew in there, but I will. Yeah, the rest are fine, seem to be fine. Yeah, so I'll take that out and I will go and sew that later on and put it back. So when I mean watch where you're punching, is that if this is not directional, you don't want to punch it upside down. Okay, right, so that's what I just want to let you know. And even when you're flipping it around to put the second pocket on the second side, just make sure that you are putting it for your directional paper, you're using it correctly. So maybe you would like to, you know, if you don't want to bother with all that, just use non-directional paper. Alright, so I would then go here and I would add, and the best part about this is you can take out if you want to, and you can add if you want to, as many as you want. This is the front cover, so I would have done the same now. So talking and talking. Okay, so let's take out this one. So like for example, this one I didn't sew over there. I can just take it out and come and sew it. It's not a problem. So I'm going to take this, and it's going to be in that direction. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to then put it through here like that, match up the holes and match up the, well, not the holes, I'm matching up side to side. And then I'm gonna just take this here like that, and then I know that this is my front, and I know that's my bottom pocket, so I know that I need to have it in this direction for that pocket to be at the bottom. And then matching it up there in the, don't need, you know, no need to worry about that mark there, because it'll come out because it's actually sitting on the acetate itself. There we go. Take my big bites and then can punch those holes out. That. Gosh guys, my arms are so sore that when I was punching these out, I punched like 8 out, and I actually was telling my son my arm is sore. Right, so what I wanted to let you know is that I hope that, I mean, I know quite a few of you waited for this video. I'm going to put this in now, and I'll take it out whenever I want to actually thing it. And then I would have done the back cover as well. Okay, so I would have done the very same thing for the back cover, but I need, now I don't have any more toilet roll cores because I actually miscalculated the for the back cover. So I'm going to put in the back cover as well later on. Because I make so many of this, I can even take out one from here and add it to another one when I make it, and then it'll still be 10. And there we go, like that. And that's the front cover. I'm going to add it in here like this. Oh my word, easier said than done. Yeah, it gets a bit difficult now because we are it's filling up, but it's not impossible. There she says, and then she doesn't do it. Come on, Anthony, you got this. Well, it seems to have you. You don't have it. There. Darcy. And then that's it. That's it, like that. Just, my hands feel so weak today. And you notice how I open my pins, eh? You don't open them that way. You weaken them. You always open them like from side to side, up and down. So that's your toilet roll ephemera holder. Let's see. I've been cutting out some stuff to use in my journal. Oh, there's no pocket there. There we go. Look at that. And it's nice and secure. And I mean, really, how much did it take to make? These here are quite inexpensive. And these rings as well. So really, it doesn't take a lot to make an ephemera holder. And where you have almost an endless supply of toilet roll cores. Kind of a thing. So that's that. And then I just wanted to show you something else. Now these are older ones. And you'll see that I refined the process as I went on. So on these ones, they sit like that on my shelf. They sit like this on my shelf. And that is why I don't bother decorating the front. But this one has a little butterfly on it. So I added a little butterfly charm on it. Because then it tells me that this has butterflies in it. Okay. And then this one here has a little flower on it. Because I keep my flowers in it. This one has my flowers in it. My little die cuts for my flowers. Okay. So I do have other ephemera storage holders that I use. But these ones are for the little, the small ones. The small ones. This one has labels in it and stuff like that and words. So I'd probably put a little dangle here with a word on it. So it will, you know, then I know that when I pull out, I'll only pull out the labels or something like that. So this is it, ladies and gents. You can see I've got like 3 more sitting up there. And I use them and they don't take much space. But they hold a lot of stuff in it. They hold a lot of stuff in it. And just putting it in. They hold a lot of stuff. So I like it because I can just pick them up and I can use them. You've seen me using them. So take care, everybody, and have a blessed day, a week ahead. And if you like this kind of content and you like this video, oh, I'm a little bit, why am I struggling to put it away? Yeah, so if you like this kind of content and you like this video, and you thought it was useful, please comment below, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't as yet joined my YouTube channel, if you haven't as yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. If this kind of content appeals to you. And also the other thing is that my Facebook group, I sometimes share freebies there, but I do give you news about the kids, and I do, you see, I must get used to the fact that that's not there. I do post my links to my videos in there, so you can also check it from there. And then the other thing is that I am doing I am designing a Facebook freebie at the moment. And so far I've got 3 pages. I probably will do another page. It's like a collage, dusky rose collage, you know, papers. And it's coming up pretty awesome. So if you are interested in that, just click on the link below for my Facebook group. Join it. There's other freebies there as well. And you can post your creations on it. I'm also on Instagram, so if you want to look in Instagram to follow me there, do so. Please do so. I'll put all the links below. Have yourself an awesome weekend. Can you see how easy, or not weekend, week. Can you see how easy that is? Simply love it. And these ones I don't even have the notches on. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. See you soon.